Take Control Books are media sponsors of MacVoices TV at Macworld 2010. See their selection of ebooks at takecontrolbooks.com. Hi, I'm Chuck Joyner, and we are live on the show floor at Macworld 2010 in San Francisco. We're glad you could join us. We're here talking to Omaha Sternberg of iGame Radio. She is, hopefully will become one of our Mac games experts, because I don't know the first thing about games, folks. Omaha, it's great to have you.
Thank you very much, Chuck, for letting me join you.
Hey, it's fun. So tell us, what do you think of games at Macworld 2010, because you're the expert?
Well, it's been interesting. When I first realized that I was coming to Macworld and took a look at the exhibitors who were coming and realized that most of the old Mac game developer and publisher stalwarts weren't going to be here, I was a little concerned. But when I came onto the expo floor and started taking a look at all the iPhone developers and publishers that were here, there was a lot of innovation out there that I probably would not have seen with all of the traditional ones that I've seen there. And there's some really great ones out there that I highly recommend taking a look at, and I'm going to have a chance to talk about them on my podcast. But it's giving us an opportunity for these people who, there's just a lot of noise in the App Store, so it's really, really hard for some of these people to be able to get any kind of recognition for their games. And this is an opportunity for them to get face-to-face with lots of consumers over a 3-day period. So this is an opportunity not to be missed by them. And then, of course, there's the fact that Telltale Games is here, and they've made the announcement this week that they are porting all of their games over to the Mac. That is a very big deal, because as the App Store has become more popular for game developers, it's been leeching away from especially independent Mac developers putting their games onto the Mac. And it's really nice to see a game developer coming and saying, okay, I'm going to start supporting the Mac again. So that's been a very, very important announcement this week.
There always seems to be this question floating around about the Macintosh and Apple supporting game developers. Are we beyond that? Is it still an issue of any kind, or is it just a matter that they have to develop Mac games and that's different? I'm not sure I'm asking the question well, because as I've said before, I'm not a game person, but everybody seems to think if you're a serious gamer, you need a PC. Is that really true?
Well, actually, to tell you the truth, it has now come to the point where if you're a serious gamer, it's not even a PC you get, it's a console. And that's a revolution that's been occurring over the past year or two, where more and more the PCs are becoming dedicated servers. You can't even have independent servers anymore with LAN support, et cetera, et cetera. But and the PC gamers have been feeling that pinch and feeling that burn. And all I can say is Mac gamers out there have been saying, welcome to the club, folks. We've been having that pain for years and years and years. But as far as Apple not supporting game developers and not supporting the game community, that's been an argument and a complaint that we've had for a long time. And part of that is, part of it is not seeing Apple, when they've come to Macworld, really say much about games. You don't see it very much. But when you go to the Apple stores, what you do see is you see iPhone showing games on it, but you don't see that much when it comes to the Mac. And so there's still that cut between the iPhone game scene and the Mac game scene. But it's really not Apple's job to get into game development. That's not their role. They don't have a lot of experience with it. They're not even developing games for the iPhone, although there was a rumor going around for a period of time over the past few months that might be the case, but I doubt that that's going to be the case. It's not their forte. They rely on third-party developers to do so. And so one of the things that occurred with Apple moving to the Intel was that everybody was really hoping that would start jump-starting people wanting to go over to the Mac as far as games. The real jump that's going to push people going over to the Mac is game publishers and developers feeling like they're going to get some kind of return for the work they put into porting their games, or actually putting games onto the Mac for the demographic they're facing. So if there's enough people who are using their Macs for games, they feel that they can actually spend the cash to put the games onto the Mac. And that's been an individual case-by-case basis. Some developers feel, there's just not enough there for us to waste our time. Others are like, well, we have to. And some are like, we're going to take that step to put one of our or two of our games out there and see what kind of response we get. And if it's a good response and we feel it's worth the money, then we'll continue going. And so that continues to this day.
So perhaps this is a naive statement, but the game market is not really any different than any other aspect of the software market. It just the demographic has to be right, and they have to be able to make enough money to justify the effort intended to get it there.
Exactly.
Talk just for a second about the iPhone as a game platform, because you go to the top paid apps and you always see 8 out of the 10, at least, are games, which really intrigues me as a non-gamer. But obviously, I'm clearly in the minority here.
Yeah, there's no question about that, and you're going to see the majority of the apps that are on the App Store are going to be games. And as far as the top free or top paid, but especially the top paid, the majority you're going to see on there are also from larger iPhone game developers, such as Gameloft, such as Digital Chocolate, such as Come to Us. I love saying the name of that company. But the fact of the matter is that most people, when they get onto their iPhone, they find a tremendous amount of enjoyment and pleasure out of playing games, and you can get onto a game with an iPhone and spend just a few minutes playing and get really immersed into a game, and then you're done and need to go off and visit your doctor, or you're finished with the car being filled up, or whatever it is that you took that brief time out to. But then there are games that you can spend hours playing on your iPhone, and I've done that as well. So the wonderful thing about the iPhone and the iPhone games is that many of the developers who've created games for them have games that are keyed to that demographic of being able to play for just a few minutes or for as many hours as you like. And that is why they're so popular and you see so many out there. But make no mistake, you don't have to be a big publisher in order to be able to get them up onto that top 10 or top 25. Many independents who are like 1 or 2 shots or just starting out, they pop up there because they do really, really well. They make good games, they do good job at marketing, and they get the word out about their games, and they just keep pushing to get the word out. That's the real key, pushing to get the word out.
Okay. Omaha, they're turning the lights out on us, but I would not be doing my job if I didn't at least bring up the iPad and just ask for any predictions you have on it as a gaming platform. Is it just going to be iPhone apps intensified, or is it going to be something different?
Oh no. We're going to see some real iPad-specific games out there, and some game developers are already talking about what it is that they want to put out there that's very specific to the iPad. One of the things you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of traditional board-style games that are going to show up for the iPad because of its size and the ability you can put it on a table. You're going to be able to have people around it to play on the surface. And so there's been some games, like for example, there was a game I reviewed on my show, Wordspin. It really didn't work very well translated from its traditional space in a board, and it's not really a board, but it's a similar to a board style game where you had a group playing the game into the iPhone. But you put it on the iPad where you now have the group playing again around the iPad, and you get that community aspect again. There's all kinds of other games like Risk-style games, Civilization-style games, Sim-style games that'll work really well on that, role-playing games that work really well on something like that don't work very well in an iPhone-style environment because of the really tiny screen. So you're going to see games that are not so much geared towards the accelerometer, much more geared towards the touch screen, much more geared towards using the sound aspect, using the microphone aspect. So I think that's what you're going to see more on the iPad than you will see on the iPhone. Certainly you're going to see, all of the iPhone apps are going to be available on the iPad, and so all of your traditional fun games that you like playing are going to be available there. Some of them that work much better on a larger screen are going to be much more fun to play with, but most definitely you're going to see some very specific ones that are catered for the specificity of the iPad itself.
You have to come back and talk to us a little more about this because it's an area that we don't cover on MacVoices or MacVoices TV the way we want to. So, but that doesn't mean you can't learn, folks. Just go to iGameRadio.com and you can hear Omaha comment on games, review games, and talk to game developers a lot more regularly. But we'll ask her to come back and provide a 30,000-foot level for us occasionally. Omaha, it's great to see you. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Thanks very much, Chuck. It was an enjoyable time.
I'm Chuck Joyner. That's MacVoices TV at Macworld 2010. We'll be back with more from the show floor soon. Thanks for watching. Take Control Books are media sponsors of MacVoices TV at Macworld 2010. See their selection of ebooks at takecontrolbooks.com. MacVoices TV is part of the MacVoices Group and a member of Mac Level 10.